Now, welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with Thor's Lightning Takes. And let's get right to the news.
All right, we have Andor news.
I always love Andor news.
Because Andor news is the best news because we want Andor.
We do want Andor, yes.
Remember when we thought it was going to be 5 seasons and at first we were like, this is horrible. And then we were like, yes.
I don't know if I ever said it was...
Well, we just thought, how are you going to cram that much Andor in before we really knew what to expect, you know?
It wasn't that I thought it was horrible as much as I was like,
come on.
5 seasons of Andor.
Well, when you heard, we're going to go and make you a Rogue One prequel, everyone's like, well, come on.
Not everybody. I always had this
yeah.
No. We can pull up the receipts if you want. I got hundreds of videos you can listen to me talking to about Andor before we ever knew what it was. I always said I have high hopes for Andor. I believe
that's before Disney wore you down.
Yeah,
it's before the Kenobis of the world.
It was before Kenobi and Boba Fett and all. But that's besides the point. Like I always tried to tell people, hey, don't sleep on Andor. It could be something. It's an interesting time period and idea, and if it's with Tony Gilroy at the helm, if you're gonna go with the style of Rogue One.
All right, you're just blathering. We're gonna keep moving.
I thought I was doing quite well. No, yeah, I always thought there was a chance Andor could be great.
Yes. Well, now we know Andor is great, and we're foaming at the mouth for the next season.
We are, yeah.
Yes.
Now I would gladly take 5 seasons of Andor.
I'm sad we're only getting 2, but whatever. If I get 2 phenomenal seasons, I will be happy with 2 phenomenal seasons.
I'm right there with you.
Sometimes you got to know when to quit, which is great.
Got to know when to hold them. Hold them.
All right, well, Stellan Skarsgård, who of course plays Luthen Rael, the double-lifed Luthen Rael.
Sort of, yeah.
Luthen versus
we don't even know.
Axis.
He's got so many going on.
Who knows?
So many things going on.
Well, they did talk to him a little bit about Andor Season 2. He's out there doing the interviews, promoting Dune Part 2. Obviously, he's playing Baron Vladimir Harkonnen.
Yeah. He did excellent in that as well. At least the first part will be seen in Part 2 in a couple days.
Excellent. Yeah. But yes, so people, of course, were like, hey
that other really popular sci-fi franchise, yeah.
Yes. And he kind of gave us hope that it was going to be worth the wait. He said, it's the last season of it. It ends where Rogue One starts, so it's up to that point. I think it'll be very good, as already the first one was satisfying for me because it's sort of Star Wars for grown-ups. It's a more realistic and complicated society that they're living in, and the claustrophobia of the fascist regime is palpable. I think we have a good season ahead of us.
It is well said. It is a more adult-oriented Star Wars than it traditionally is.
It is. It's certainly... It's got the themes and stuff that are a little above the heads of the young ones.
I don't know that they're like above the heads as much as it's just more nuanced than you would see in like Vader bad, Luke good, right? Not that that's can't be enjoyable. It's less
black and white. It plays on the shades of gray to go. Well, Andor is he a good person? Is he a bad person? It's hard to say honestly sometimes.
There's some moral dilemmas that you have rooting for the good guys,
right? Because when you're doing bad for the sake of good, you're towing the line. Yes.
What do the ends justify the means? If
you can ask Luthen what he has sacrificed. He sacrificed everything.
Everything.
He gave up his soul, his common decency, to give it all for somebody else.
He became something worse than his enemies to defeat him. Now, what does that make him? That is the question, right?
And that's why his character is so interesting.
Yes.
We still have to know what is his stake in this. Why did he join the fight? We don't have that answer.
Which is fine, as long as we eventually kind of get it or learn a little something, right? Like, it's fine that you don't immediately know his motivations because his motivations are so strong that you're intrigued by them, right?
Exactly.
But eventually you would like to know why they're so strong.
I'll be very upset if we somehow don't get it.
I'm sure we'll get something, and it'll if it's anything like season 1, it'll be good enough, right? Or excellent.
We all assumed we were getting Andor this year, but then the actor strike thing happened, and it kind of pushed everything back. So then we didn't know what was happening anymore. We were all saying, hey, 2025. There's been no official statement made by Disney, but Skarsgård thinks there's still a hope we're getting our Andor fixed this year. He said it will probably be out towards the end of the year or early next.
Very interesting. I think we all kind of assume no chance this year.
I still assume, even though he says maybe, I'm still going, are they going to overlap it with Skeleton Crew?
There's no way they're going to do that.
If Acolyte's coming out in June, like the rumors suggest, Skeleton Crew would be...
October, I think, right?
Yeah,
sometime in the fall.
October, maybe November.
Yeah, it'll be the fall. It won't be like
where would
immediately
Andor
after
be? It's got to be pushing for the spring.
Andor should come out during Christmas because it's the
It's your
gift that
present?
keeps giving.
It
Yes.
should come out for Thanksgiving because every year we do a Andor Thanksgiving video.
You know what would be the
I've
best thing
already
ever?
started working on
I know
this
you
year,
have.
so if Andor comes before it, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I hope it comes out the day after Thanksgiving it's release day, because it's like they were watching us and they know they're giving us a gift. Like, here,
I
we
literally
know
have
your
a paper
passion.
here where I've already started
I
working
know.
on it
I thought you were joking until I saw you actually jotting down notes for
Yes.
next Thanksgiving's video.
about Andor
this
because that's
Cummings, I
what we
suppose.
do here.
Yes.
All right, let's move into another story today, though I could talk about Andor for like ever.
Yeah, I mean, just to sum it up, I mean, I don't know that really how much we should take from that, right?
But
I'm
trust
fine
in
with it being early next
I
year
trust
at
in
this point.
Stellan Skarsgård's
Sure.
opinion. So if he says it's going to be good, I'm going to believe him, and
Well,
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I think we've heard him talk about that. It's going to be good before, and obviously he's not going to say, "Oh my God, this looks like it's
Yes,
going to
but
be
I
terrible."
trust that he really means it.
Yeah, because we know how good the first season was, so it's like, well, yeah, it makes sense. Season 2 will be great too. But yeah, I trust Stellan Skarsgård as well.
All right. Well, some of those Entertainment Weekly interviews are coming out. The first one is from D. Bradley Baker, where he talks about his history doing Star Wars, doing the clones, Bad Batch. It's all good.
All the clones.
All of the clones. I mean, he started in 2008, literally with the Clone Wars animated movie,
Yep.
doing the clones.
Yep.
They started out by asking him why he feels the Bad Batch story is so engaging and what he believes it's really about at its core. He says, well, the story of the Bad Batch launched with a really spectacular opener with Order 66 and this sudden galvanizing of what these guys are doing. They're no longer just kicking around the universe as hotshot mercenaries. They're in the middle of a really serious intergalactic shift that is happening. This is clearly the story of them waking up to that and seeing what they're going to do about it. Then you bring on board this kid of all things, and that completely transforms the stakes of their predicament and what they're trying to do. So all these really charged aspects of their world that start at the beginning of the Bad Batch, all of this is being brought home and brought to final landing with this season 3. So it's a very exciting story that is at once very big, but it's also very personal. It's huge. You've got Palpatine and Moff Tarkin, and you've got these big baddies. This is on their radar, and that's the big story that's playing out. But like you're saying, you also have a family that wants to not only survive and make sure that everyone's okay, but they need to find their place in this. They need to find their way through this and how they're going to commit. Are they going to cut and run? Are they going to fight? What are they going to do? That's the story of the Bad Batch.
He should be like the spokesperson for it there.
It sums it up really well.
I agree, yeah.
It's crazy how the Bad Batch's story has been like, starts out big, gets small and personal and family, then it gets big again when you're like, in season 2, they started questioning what are the fate of the clones. They had the episodes at the Senate where you're like, do clones have rights? Are they possessions? Are they things to be thrown away?
Yeah, I think the questions about the clones have been one of the most fascinating parts about the show. And I agree. I think Star Wars has this, knack or unique way of being something that is about a war taking place in a galaxy, yet it's also personal stories. It's the personal stories that make it interesting, right?
It is. They give you the real stakes.
Yeah.
Then they asked what it was like for D. Bradley to voice so many characters at once. He says, with the talking to myself as a room of clones, that first took a little bit of focus. It took a little bit of extra energy to keep everybody clear. But as we kicked along with it, it became easier and easier. It was actually a little bit easier with the Bad Batch themselves because they're so different. They're each distinct and different characters. So it made it a little bit easier from my angle as an actor to read through the scenes as this team of soldiers if they're different people. So it was actually a little bit easier, especially once we relaxed into their characters to do the dynamic of what was playing out.
I got to imagine the Bad Batch is much easier to do because they all kind of have different voices, whereas
Yes.
all the other clones essentially have the same voice. Whereas
Yes.
here, where you're basically trying to do like maybe inflections and maybe cadence is how you kind of distinguish the other clones, or maybe some keywords that they use, something to try to distinguish them. But here, you actually use different voices.
Well, with the regs, you both want them distinguished and don't because they're not meant
Yeah.
to be. It's interesting, yeah.
It's got to be very hard because, like you said, you want them to all sound the same, but you also want them to be unique at the same time in a way.
He was asked if he knew precisely how many clones he's brought to life over the years.
Ooh.
He said, fans will give me posters that they've made of all the characters. I'm like, I remember the name, but I need to go back and review this. Some I do remember, and I feel like I still know them well, like Gregor or Cut or 99 or Heavy or Fives. There's a number of them that are prominent, but there's a whole range of them that are no less valuable to me. But maybe they were just one-offs. But you still find a fan who's like, yeah, I really love Kix. What episode was he in? Oh, he was in 2nd season, 5th episode, and I'm like, I believe you. And of course, they're always right.
What do you mean he doesn't know who Kix is? No,
Hey,
my whole image.
Isn't Kix the surviving clone who made it to the
is-
sequels?
Yes, he is the.
He got, like, frozen cryogenically
Yeah, by Dooku.
by Dooku.
Yes.
Yes. And so he was found by a pirate.
Yes, the. Oh my goodness, the red one. What was it? The
How-
Crimson
like
Corsair.
Yeah, Crimson Corsair.
Who has a name? Who since it's sequel
It
stuff,
was like
I
it's
kind of tuned it out.
something like that.
Someone will pick us up in the comments, but yeah, the Crimson Corsair.
Yes, he actually has a clone on his crew named Kix.
Yes.
Which,
Very-
like, okay, one clone has made it.
One clone survives into the sequel era.
Yep. When he started voice acting for the clones, though, all those years ago, he said he could have never anticipated such a long and celebrated history with Star Wars. He said he was shocked in the first place when he got cast in 2008. He says, as a voice actor, you start out on a series innocent of anything that's about to happen. You just don't know. For me, no one was more surprised than me that I even got cast in this. I'm going to be a soldier. I'm normally doing the weird comedic stuff, but soldiers? I wouldn't have thought myself capable of this. I wouldn't have thought to cast myself at this. So for me, it's very satisfying creatively and as an actor to have found this within me through the trust of Dave Filoni and the whole gang. I'm just lucky to be along for the ride. George Lucas said, let's try it this way, and then kind of improbably it became this little escape pod that made it out of the Clone Wars and made it down to Tatooine, and by golly, the story continues with the Bad Batch. That's kind of how it feels. It's like really improbable adventure that took me to all these incredible places and worlds I've never would have imagined. I just feel lucky to have been along for the ride on that.
Yeah, who would have ever thought?
Right? I mean, someone who's like voicing
Momo
and Appa from
among a million other things. Yeah.
from the last, original,
the cartoon,
Last
the animated,
Airbender.
whatever, yeah.
and they're like, you want to be clones, bunch of soldiers? And he's like, I don't
All of
usually
them.
talk. I mean, he's Eagly in Peacemaker. He's
Yes.
not known for his speaking roles, but yet he has
Strange animal noises, yeah.
thousands of speaking roles, apparently.
Well, I don't know if it's thousands, but I mean,
There's-
I wonder how many clones have spoken.
I
don't think
you
it's
could
thousands.
never even
It's
guess.
not even probably close to
So many
thousands,
times you
but-
see a group of clones and all just like talking and stuff.
Yeah, if you're counting like the gibberish
You
kind of
got
stuff
it.
in the
You got to.
background.
That's all. He had to record it all.
Fair, but they probably
he
like
recorded it all.
reused
No.
and kind of looped and
He did it every time fresh.
I don't know about that. It's a lot of
Fresh.
clones. It's a lot of clones, but I don't know that it's I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sure I'd love to hear from the people out there who have counted them all. Like what is the number? How many different clones have we heard speak?
Do they have in the credits it just says clones, or does it have like numbers?
There's some. If I'm remembering right,
TC,
sometimes it's just like
da-da-da-da.
clone X number or whatever. I don't even think they name them as much as like
Do they give them their numbers?
No, I think it's just like pilot clone. I could be wrong. I don't remember. But anyway, I think that's going to be all we got for this time. Now it is your turn to take to the comments below and tell us what you think of any and all of today's news. When do you think Andor is going to drop? And what do you think about what D. Bradley had to say? Whatever the case may be, leave those comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.